was sort of a computer nerd when I was younger. I had got a Commodore 64 in junior high school, and that was my life for quite a while. And before that, I had the Sinclair 2000. That was my first computer, which was had 1K of memory. It was expandable to 16K, and it was like a speak and spell with a little plastic keyboard interface. You know, the first few bands I was in were kind of typical kind of indie rock, sort of whatever. They weren't necessarily specifically genre based, but you're kind of experimenting, and then started getting more and more into experimental music. Like we started a band in '93 called Physics. The idea was just basically one chord for 45 minutes, but it was improvisation with themes. I guess the classical guitar training came in, but not that much. So it's kind of a mixture between the playing and lots of different, just in the local scene, of actually, doing the musician thing, and then being really into computers, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you can actually record onto computers now and edit stuff. For me, it was kind of a natural progression, like wanting to start implementing not just electronic gear, but actual computers into playing, because the possibility was you could fine-tune things to such an extent that it was like, wow, this is a great thing we could possibly do. For me, the thing that I think is interesting about computers is they're so good at making random. And for me, the idea is you set up some sort of situation where it creates some sort of random phenomenon or whatever, a process, and humans are really good at picking out what they like. And there's the human element. So, some sort of process that sets up like a whole bunch of like things, and you eliminate that down to a smaller set of parameters, and then you go, oh, about this one, and then pretty soon you're okay, I like these ones, and then but you could never have come up with it. Which leads to the whole question of the dehumanizing of stuff too, where you're like, isolating yourself, which is a whole nother question. But yeah, it's true. I mean, the idea of like, hey, I can have someone else play my parts now, and I don't have to worry about them coming to band practice. I can just do it. But the dilemma right now is ultimately a computer is keeping the rhythm usually, and humans are following along with it, and you can try to make the computer as intelligent as possible, but ultimately it's not as open. They just feed back on themselves. But now it's turning in on the computer. It's kind of funny. I'm loading up the same programs and the same plugins and doing the same thing, and it's, for me, it's always trying to find a new way of doing something to get something out of it, that to expand the horizon of, and the palette of making of things.